What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode. Let me move the mic. Of the Stella Ray Herself podcast. It's me, Stella Ray herself. Where can I put this? Okay, guys. Share this, take a screenshot, post it on your story. No, but for real, thank you guys for listening to last week's episode and just listening in general. I'm gonna be honest, I feel all over the place this week, specifically today. Because I'm moving on Friday, today's Monday, and I just feel like I have so much to do, but I'm also trying to go out at the same time. No, the thing is though, I'm not doing a big move, so not that I'm putting it off. I did pack pretty much everything that I'm not gonna need, but it's just hard to do it all so in advance, because it's I do still have to live my life. There's just so many things that I do need and use every day. I can't pack all of that, right now. So I'm kind of fuck. I hope it's going to be fine. But yeah, today's Memorial Day, so trying to, have a productive Monday, but still enjoy, the day that most people have off. And, my friends have off. And, yeah, so we're going to go to a little day party. I am going to vlog it. I have been vlogging a lot of antics recently, so... low-key, I feel like my friends are going to be here in an hour or so. I don't know if I want this truly yet, but we are going to start with this sparkling water. This is not sponsored. It might be gross. I'll give you guys my true opinion. Sometimes I can open a can with my nails. I'm not going to risk that right now. So you just take a spoon and lift up the thing. Okay. So this is a cucumber mint sparkling water with L-theanine or L-theanine, I don't know, electrolytes and caffeine. How many milligrams of caffeine does this have? 100 milligrams. So that's I think a cup of coffee is 150, so it's not a crazy energy drink or anything. I'm honestly scared of those. I've never had a Red Bull, don't plan on it, I'm scared of that. But I will drink a large cold brew from Dunkin'. Okay, cheers. Oh. It's definitely refreshing. The cucumber, though, is very potent, and it kind of reminds me of eating one of those cucumber yogurt salads, It's not bad. It's just literally a sparkling water, yeah. Also, y'all know I love a Truly. I finally got my hands... This is this is a hard seltzer unboxing channel now. I finally got my hands on a box of the Truly Punches. So if you don't know, I'm sure you do, but I don't know if they have these in other countries. I really don't know. But it's a hard seltzer, so it's essentially sparkling water with alcohol in it. So, I'm sure you heard of White Claws, but it's kind of like that. I love Truly's because I just remember in 2019, I feel it was really summer of 2019 when hard seltzers were huge. That's the first summer, at least in my experience, where they really popped off. Everyone was drinking White Claws, and I just feel if a bunch of people are really into something or doing something like that, such a specific item or trend or whatever, I don't want to do it. I'm ew. Even when everyone was getting Snapchat in high school, I was that's why my Snapchat username is Cool Kid Swag, because I was kind of pressured into getting one because all my friends were please just make a Snapchat. So I was fine, but I'm gonna name it Cool Kid Swag, and it's ironic. Anyway, so I just remember the guy that I was talking to at the time was always trying to get me to drink them, and I was just I don't want to prove him right, so I got the Trulies instead. Yeah. Anyway, I feel it's kind of early to have this. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't really pregame these days because usually we go to the club. I guess we haven't really. Whatever. I'll just open it. Because I will drink it. I don't know if I just want it all right now, though. But, it's kind of fun. It's this is kind of the celebration episode. I really don't have a plan. I just wanted to chat and check in with y'all. Anyway, the point of me talking about these Trulies, they do have stevia in them. The lemonade ones, the iced tea ones, and these punches. And if you don't like stevia, it's like such a specific flavor, you know? It's like sweet, but like an artificial sweet, and it's just a specific flavor. It's not just sweet, it's like a flavor. I don't mind it, but I don't prefer it, and I feel like a lot of the times these like sweet Trulies are just too sweet for me, even though it's artificial. So I probably would not get the punch pack again. I just love the regular tropical pack because they're not sweetened, but it's like a little more flavor than just a like sparkling, like this energy drink, for example. Yeah, the tropical regular is my favorite. But we did actually have the White Claw iced teas, which do not have stevia in them. And they were pretty good. They were pretty refreshing. Like the peach one was really good, and I liked the raspberry. But they were all like decent. So if I was going to get the iced teas, I would get the White Claws over the Trulies. Truly, please stop putting so much stevia. It's like, some people don't mind it. Some people like it, but it's just too sweet for me. Anyway, cheers to day drinking. Cheers to... me moving out of this apartment. This is going to be probably the last podcast in this apartment unless I pre-record one, which I low-key might do. I don't know yet. Because basically, I'm moving. My dad is coming to help me move. I move, and then literally 2 days later, I go on a trip. So I'm kind of all over the place. Like, my mind isn't even on the trip yet just because I'm so focused on moving, you know? Anyway, let's drink. If you don't drink, maybe you're having a hydration. We don't peer pressure here. I hate peer pressure. I hate, like, ew. They really make you think, like in, I don't know, when you're a kid, you really think that peer pressure is going to be like all these like bullies cornering you. But it's really just like a regular person who's just like kind of making you feel a little awkward. I don't peer pressure. If someone, like, I'll be like, oh, take a shot. If someone's like, no, I'm like, let's leave it at that. Anyway, cheers. Yeah, cheers. No matter what you're drinking, hopefully you at least have a water, but cheers. Okay. I wanted to talk about something. Okay, so y'all know in the last episode, I was like, I don't like to be too specific with like stories or things that like happened to me recently, just because sometimes it's like, sometimes it's just it's not just my story to tell, or like, I mean, not that there's any huge drama or anything, but like sometimes something will happen and I'm like, I want to talk about this, like, not this specific, you know, event or whatever, but like I want to talk about this idea. Like, why do guys act like this? Or like, why, like this, oh, someone communicated really good or really bad or whatever. It's like, oh, I want to talk about this. It's just like an interesting, relatable concept. But it's not always, like, sometimes it's just like too fresh, or like, I feel weird about it because I'm like, I don't want people to think that I don't know, every interaction with me might end up online, you know? Like, I don't know. That's why I still get weird about, like, vlogging, even around my friends sometimes, just because it's, like, I don't want it to automatically be, like, if you're around me, or we hang out, or we go out, or you come over, or whatever, it's like, yeah, you're going to be in my video, or yeah, you have to, like, everything could end up in a story time. I don't know. Like, I just think that's annoying, so I really try not to do that. But this is like a vague story. Anyway, so don't you hate? Okay, I feel like when I first moved out and first was like being a little adult at 18 years old, I feel like I definitely would always run into, or just always was around guys like, I mean, it's not like I was talking to so many guys at that point, but the guys that I would talk to, or just like in general, I feel like I would come across this specific vibe of like, you know, when guys are just so flaky, or they're like, oh, we're going to hang out this day. And you're like, okay, so you kind of like make a note of it in your head. You're like, okay, I don't want to like plan anything this day because I want to see this guy. Like, I like him, or I want to get to know him, or whatever. And then the day comes and they either don't hit you up, or they just like don't acknowledge that at all. It's like, do you literally have a brain? Like, if I tell someone, yeah, we're hanging out this day, like there's a difference between like, oh, we should hang out soon, and you're just, it's like, yeah, definitely, girl. Definitely, girly. We should. It's like, okay, that's one thing. But to literally say, we're going to hang out this day, or we're going to do this specific day. Bitch, I'm going to remember that. I'm like a thoughtful person, but also I feel like it's just kind of normal to like, if you make plans in that way, like so specifically, I'm not going to forget or like act like I never knew about it. I don't know. I just like, are you with me? Can you relate? Like, anyway. So I just feel like I always used to have that like vibe. And I just feel like I haven't experienced that in so long. And I think it's just probably because my standards are higher. I've obviously gone through more experiences so I know like red flags. Like if someone has an inkling of that, you're not the person for me. Sorry, I don't. Like in friendships too, like I am a planner. I like to know things in advance. I like to like kind of have an idea of what to expect, you know, maybe it's a little anxiety too, but like I'm thoughtful and I like to plan, and I like someone who's organized as well. You don't have to be exactly like me, but I like, you know, it also just shows respect, I feel. It's like, are we going to respect each other's time? Because someone can be like, I'm spontaneous, or like, I just go with the flow, but it's like, are you, or do you just not, you only think about yourself and want to do things when you want to do them and you don't care or respect other people's time? Because if someone's literally making time for you or putting time aside to hang out with you or see you, like, they obviously care about you, you know? Like, I just wouldn't blow someone off like that. Anyway, so someone that I know so well, I probably know them number one on this planet, like, met this dude and, like, you know, it was just that vibe of, like, okay, so, you know, he FaceTimed, was like, oh, let's do something this day. The person that I know was like, okay, sounds good. Like, he. The day came. He's like, what are you doing today? Bitch, I thought we were hanging out. And he's like, oh, well, I might go out later. I might go out later. Not, do you want to go out? We're going out later. Like, I'm going out later. So, you know, at least for me, I take that as like, okay, you have plans. Like, we're not going to hang out. And at this point, I'm annoyed because you kind of like either forgot or are acting like you forgot that we had plans. So you're automatically like a no. And I, not to fucking mention this book in every podcast, but y'all know the Attached book, my fucking favorite. There was an example of this girl that just like would go on a lot of dates, and if a guy had like one inkling of a red flag, like everyone's different. Everyone's gonna have different like things. I guess like red flags are just like things maybe someone, like for example, one of hers, like she would just cross a guy off the list if like he didn't call or text her the day after a date. So that might not bother someone else, but for her, that was like one of her non-negotiable things. It's like, you have to contact me the day after in some way. So if they didn't, she just cross them off. And it's kind of just like, it's honestly like a numbers game, because it's like, first you're showing yourself that you're not going to put up with like behavior that you would take as like disrespect, you know? Again, everyone's different and everyone has different like ideas or examples of what that might look like. But it's just like, there's so many other fish in the sea. Like, honestly, like I feel like a lot of the times too, I know at least for myself in the past, it's like you like someone. And I know when I really like someone, like all my attention basically is on that person. But you can't like act like someone's girlfriend or be loyal to a person that you're not in a relationship with, or you haven't had that talk, you know? Because ultimately you are going to get your feelings hurt because you're just kind of assuming and like stepping into a role that maybe the other person didn't expect you to or want you to yet or whatever. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. I'm sure you've heard that before. But anyway, so I kind of had that, or, you know, the person that I know really well kind of had that like thought, like, okay, well, this guy's obviously not respecting my time. Like, he's not serious. So why would I want to hang out with you now? Like, you've proven that you don't really, even if like take away the disrespect or like, oh, I feel like you don't care or like this is rude. Even if you're just the type of person that doesn't plan like that, it's like, okay, we're already not really compatible because I don't really like that vibe personally in like any close friendship or relationship or whatever. Like, take away the rudeness, regardless of that. It's just like, I don't want to be with someone or invest my time in someone that isn't kind of organized and like planned in that way. So it's like, no. And then it's like, okay, well, there's always going to be others. Anyway, so I kind of not went off, but I was like, basically the next day, you know, the person called the person that I know really well at like 9 p.m., a little late, because I was just, the person I know really well was just, you know, chilling at home. Maybe if I was already out, it'd be a different story, but it's not like I posted anything on my story to let you know that I was out, you know? He's like, oh, do you want to do this tonight? And it's like, okay, you are like a grown-ass man. At this point in your life, you know how, not even necessarily like, oh, how long it takes girls to get ready, but like, you can't just like hit me up out of the blue when you don't even know me like that and be like, do you want to come do this? Like, maybe if we were really close or, like, I don't know, it'd be a different story. Like, I've definitely, you know, sometimes it's fun when your friend just hits you up, like, let's go do this right now. And you're like, okay, fuck it. Like, let's just go. But if I don't even know you like that, like, I'm just kind of taking this as, like, you just want me to be at your every, your every beck and call. Is that what that's saying? You just expected me to be waiting around for you? Like, no. So I said that, and then the guy was like, I'm just spontaneous. It's like, okay, now this is like the second or third time in a row that you've done this. I obviously am not interested anymore. So I guess, like, the point of me sharing this is, I don't know. I know for myself, like, I was reflecting, like, you know, in the past, I probably would have been like, okay, well, it's not that big of a deal. At least he called me. At least he wants to see me. And, like, oh, like, you know, I don't want to be extra. Like, I don't want to be, dude, fucking classic. I know I say this in every podcast, but I just keep realizing more and more. Or, like, you know, I keep having these little circumstances where it's like, this is it. And I would have in the past reacted this way, but now I'm like, fuck off. Like, no. You know, I kind of would have talked myself out of it, talked myself down of, like, you know, feeling disrespected or feeling even just annoyed. TBT, when we learned, annoyance is actually anger. It doesn't mean it's furiousness, but it is, annoyance is anger. That's the primary emotion. Let me have some cucumber water. But yeah, so, like, whenever you catch yourself doing that, like, kind of being like, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal. Well, I guess I'm overreacting. Or, like, I guess, bitch, no, because your intuition, like, that first, I know it can be, like, so hard to know what your intuition is sometimes, because it's like, is this anxiety or is this, like, intuition? Or is this, like, fear, or is this, like, actually something, like, a gut feeling? But I just know, not from necessarily the initial, like, intuitive voice in my head, but, like, the reaction of, like, oh, well, actually, like, no, it's not that big of a deal. Oh, well, he's not being so rude. Or, like, oh, like, you kind of start to make excuses for the person or the situation, or, like, you know, just kind of trying to talk yourself out of how you feel. And it's like, no, my first reaction to this guy, you know, saying this or, like, blowing me off was, like, being mad, because I was like, oh, what are you doing today? It's like, bitch, we had plans, you know? Don't tell me we had plans if we don't have plans. Like, if you want to go out and do your own thing, go do that. Just don't make plans with me or say that we're going to make plans before. And my friend actually said something that was really, like, insightful. Like, no, it was about, like, a whole different circumstance, but same kind of vibe of, like, a guy does something kind of, like, not so fucked up to the point where it's obviously, like, this is fucked up, but, like, just kind of over the line where you're like, I don't think I want to be treated like this, or, like, that was kind of rude or just weird or disrespectful, but then you kind of try to talk yourself down. But she said, like, anyone who cares about me in my life would not do that, or would not say that, or would not act that way, or would not whatever. So why would I accept it from, like, this random that I just met, you know? And the thing is, like, especially with dating dudes, if they're acting that way, like, in the beginning, bitch, this is where you're supposed to be on your best behavior, you know? So, like, that's not to say if they act perfectly, like, it's going to be perfect forever. But, you know, it's like, you're already acting this disrespectful now, and I don't even know you like that yet. And it kind of just, like, it can get honestly dark. Like, I just honestly think of, like, Ron and Sam, and, like, bitch, I know, just talk about the same books and the same concepts every podcast. But I forget what it's called, but the book about abusive men and how they don't think that what they're doing is wrong. Like, if okay, trigger warning, I don't know if I need to put a trigger warning, but, like, they use the example of, like, they just always have some kind of, like, in their mind, logical reason for, like, why they would emotionally abuse their partner or physically abuse their partner or whatever. It's like, well, she always nags me. She started it. Like, she pushes my buttons. And it's like, okay, but if you were not abusive, you wouldn't react like that. So I think of Ron and Sam because it's like, you guys know, specifically him, he knows he's being filmed and that this is going to be on, like, national television, and you're still saying these things to your girlfriend and treating her like this and cheating on her and, like, talking to her like that and calling her all sorts of names, like behind her back and to her face, and you know you're being recorded. So what are you doing when you're not being recorded, you know? I mean, it's kind of like a different like level, but it's still like, if you think it's okay to treat me like this at the beginning when, you know, you're supposed to just be on your best behavior and honestly try to get me to like you, how are you going to act when we are comfortable or when I do know you more? You know, like, it's not going to get better. It's never going to get any better. So that's why first impressions kind of are like something. Because again, it's like, okay, yeah, everyone can have like an off day or whatever, but like blatant disrespect, or maybe not even blatant, maybe like an inkling of disrespect. Okay, that's not like an off day, sweetie. That shows character. Okay. Yeah. So let me know your thoughts, I guess. I just think it's kind of like a bit crazy what guys really think they can get away with. But just know, bitch, like, it's so much better to move on to the next or to be alone or whatever than to just, you know, be with a fucking dumbass disgust out of like fear of being alone, or like, oh, at least I have someone. Like, no, bitch. No. Zones are it. Yeah. Anyway, just like, I had to get that off my chest. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. I was reading the comments on my last podcast. Literally, they're all so funny. Like, it honestly was a funny ass episode. Let me rant about everything real quick. I was like going off that day. So thank y'all for, you know, listening and relating. I just love that. Like, I literally feel like this is just us talking shit, you know? Oh my God, dude, can I just say, ever since I got a BBL, I've been like actually burping more. And I wonder why. I wonder if it's because I wear my compression garments, so they like, or I don't really wear the faja anymore because it hurts my vagina. But like the little thing. Okay, that wasn't a burp. Literally my goal today is just to have fun. Like, this is a fun activity, obviously, but like, I want to be productive, but I also just want to have a good ass day. Honestly, y'all, let's real girl talk. Not to be like just relatable things, but literally this whole week I was like, basically the past couple days, I just felt so off and like sad, honestly, and just down and so tired. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, this is just my life now. Like, is everything okay? Like, what's wrong with me? My period fucking started when I woke up. So I don't know why it's such a surprise. But also sometimes it's like, you know, your period's a couple days off from like what the app says. You know, like mine started 2 days early. So in my mind, like usually, like, okay, the week before, it's like I can kind of tell I'm a little more, it's not ovulation week, okay? But usually like the day before my period, I'll be like really tired or just like really sad. Like, I'll cry that day for sure. And it was still like 3 days out. So I was like, it's a little early. I think I'm just like tired. But then it fucking started. So I was like, oh, yeah. And now I feel fine. Yeah, just like, why is this still a surprise? I should tell the story of when I first got my period someday. Let me know if you would want to hear it. Why was I so young? I think I was like 11. That's a bit young. Like, what kind of hormones were being put in this food? Okay, I wasn't drinking milk at that age, but come on, like, that's kind of a scam. Ew, that was like honestly horrible. It was a bad day. Okay, dude, what else do I have to say right now? Like, I've just really been enjoying Gemini season and just being like social, and it just feels so good. Like, it's just such a relief, you know, after last year and a BBL recovery. So I know I keep saying it, but I'm just like excited, bro. Like, I'm just excited for this summer and like just having a good time. Fuck. This was kind of a quick podcast, huh? But don't worry, because I will make up for it in the vlogs this week and just honestly this whole month, because again, I'm moving, so I'm gonna have like moving vlogs with my dad, New York vlogs, and I just want to keep the Jersey Shore type beat style of vlog going on, like, just so fun. So I'm definitely gonna do that today. Hopefully it's like an amazing day. It is Mercury retrograde. I guess we could have talked about that, but like, bitch, just if any TBT, I've already had a few TBTs come back, even just like lightly, but like still. What I'm going to try to do is, you know, be mindful of what reoccurring themes you know, maybe I'm thinking about or that pop up, or what people pop up, and like how does that make me feel, and like how have I changed from when maybe I was talking to this person or was friends with this person or whatever, like comparing the difference, and just kind of like honestly trying to step back and like not force anything, you know, like whatever. Like I said, my goal of the day is just to enjoy the day, but I don't have any expectations. Like, you never know. Knock on wood. But, you know. So it doesn't have to be this, like, crazy dramatic time. But just, you know, it's like, let me observe. Let me reflect. I mean, it's like literally what I would do anyway. But, like, yeah. Cheers to Gemini season, bitch. Love you guys so much. Don't forget to tweet me a screenshot of you listening or a little aesthetic boomerang, you know, if you're watching on your TV or in your car or whatever. I just think that's so cute. Love seeing the aesthetics. And I will talk to you guys next week. Love you guys.